What's up guys, Ivan from I'll Get My Tools here. We got a real quick video today. I'm going to address doors sticking to the door jambs. I'm sure we all got this problem somewhere in our house. I'm going to go over 3 or 4 quick and easy steps how to alleviate that problem. So do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I do a number of how-to, DIY, and home renovation projects. And now for my dramatic intro. So as you can see, this door is sticking to the jamb up there. It's making that noise when you hit it. Generally, there's 3 reasons why that happens. The first problem is humidity. Depending on the environment within the house or the season outside, the part of the country that you live in, there's moisture in the air. If enough moisture gets into that door, it's made out of wood, it swells up, we got our sticking. The second is just general use. The opening, closing 1,000 times, week after week, month after month, the weight of the door itself, it's going to cause that door to kind of shift more towards that side. Just gravity, weight, and use. And third is just your house settling. Depending on when your house was built, over time, generally it's made out of wood, it's going to sag. The framing sags ever so slightly, but over time, things do move. As you can see here, it's pretty tight over here, and I've got a pretty big gap over there. I put a level to this earlier, and there's definitely a slope. I didn't install this door, but that's what I'm dealing with. So those are the 3 general things that cause this to happen. So now I'm going to show you 3 or 4 quick, easy ways to get this fixed. So the first and most obvious step is to tighten up the screws within the hinges. This is a typical screw for a hinge. It's only 3/4 of an inch, so it's only getting into the door jamb itself. But again, over time and usage, these screws can get pulled out, the hinges can get loose, so do that first. And I do recommend just using a Phillips screwdriver. If you use a power drill, you're going to probably strip these. Again, if you have an older house, you're going to strip the crap out of that wood. Hand tighten as good as you can with one of these first. And make sure you do both sides. And while you're at it, tighten up your middle hinge as well. Alright, so if you tighten that up and it didn't work, here's your second option. So generally I use either a 2-inch to 2 1/4-inch screw with a coarse thread. It's going to give you a lot more bite than this 3/4-inch screw. Now let me explain why. This is the door jamb right here, right? That's always 3/4 of an inch. As a framer, when we frame these openings for doors, we usually leave about 1/2 inch space on both sides. That allows us to level the door, move it to where it needs to be, and put shims in. After that, you're going to have your jack stud. Your jack stud is going to be 1.5 inches thick. Sistering to that is going to be an actual framing stud. That's also going to be 1.5 inches thick, all right? But I have been in houses where they just have that one stud there. So my point being, that 3/4 of an inch plus about 1/2 inch of space plus 1.5 inches face of the stud, this will give you plenty to bite and grab that stud without going through that first stud. Now why I say that is because I have been in older houses where they just have one stud for the framing, and they have electrical wires running down that stud, or maybe some kind of water piping or heat piping. And if you do a 2.5 inch or maybe 3-inch screw, you run that risk of hitting that pipe and that wiring. You're opening up a can of worms. All right, so I always remove the middle screw. You don't need to remove all 3. One screw is going to put in a lot of work, all right? So again, use your 2-inch or 2 1/4-inch screw, put it in there, and don't go crazy. Once you feel that stud, give it a little bit of a kick, but you don't want to drive it home. You can put the whole door out of level, all right? That's pretty good. I saw the hinge move a little bit, and that's all that you want. You don't want to get crazy with this. All right, so if that didn't work, which honestly it should most of the time, I got 2 more things for you to try. Give me a minute. All right, the third thing we're going to do is actually take the hinge on the door side and crank it in a little bit. Be easy with this one, all right? Don't get crazy. But let me show you how this works. So the first thing we want to do is take the pin out of the door hinge. I recommend to use like a 12D spike. This is an actual framing nail. It's made out of steel. It can take a lot of hits and it won't bend. If you try to use like a little trim nail or a thumbtack or whatever else you homeowners find, it ain't going to work. So try to get yourself a nice steel 12D nail. Put it up in here. And there she is. So since my door is not all messed up, I'm not going to actually bend my hinge, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So just get an adjustable wrench like this. Put it on the 2 hinges that are on the door side, okay? And you can see there's 1, 2, 3. That's attached to the jamb. These 1, 2 are part to the door. Now you want to put your adjustable wrench right on that. The main reason why I like to use these adjustable span wrenches is because they're smooth. Most wrenches have teeth on them, channel locks, pipe wrench, all that kind of stuff. You're going to put a lot of marks and mar the beauty. You don't want that. That's why I use these. So just quickly put it on the top one. All right, tighten it up. And just give it a couple of tugs in towards the door. Remember, we're trying to pull this door towards the jamb. All right, so by us pulling in towards the door, we're going to close that gap. So just a couple of tugs on it again. That's what she said. Sorry. Just a couple of quick tugs on it. Don't get crazy. And then go down to the lower one. Do the same thing. A couple of quick tugs on it. And then put the door back in. Drop the pin. And that should help you. Now, if those 3 didn't work, I've got one more for you. But this one's like end of the world. I'm tired of the freaking door sticking. Every time I want to open it, it won't open. The screw didn't work. The adjustment didn't work. Nothing worked. I got one last one for you. It's not ideal, but if you're desperate, it's going to work. All right, step 4 is the nuclear option. You're going to have to get either an orbital sander or regular sandpaper. I recommend about 120 grit. That's good enough to trim the door, but not so aggressive where you're putting a major cut into the door, and not too light where you're not doing anything. So about 120 grit should get the job done. So look at where your door is hitting the jamb and follow it down. Eventually there's going to be a little gap, which means it's starting to open, and it should gradually get larger. So wherever that point is, where the gap begins, take your pencil and draw a mark on the jamb itself and then on the door. All right, that's going to give you the reference point of where to stop sanding. All right, so you have that pencil mark. Now you kind of want to make a gauge so you know that you're not sanding too much of the door off. So just take a regular pencil, pull the door out, and depending on how much you need, no more than an 1/8 inch generally, just grab your pencil, hold it, and just scribe the side of the door all the way down. So wherever your pencil mark is, okay? Scribe it again, just like that. So that's going to give you a reference point so you don't go too deep or too shallow. Dude, I gotta get another job. Some of these lines are like gross. Now, I like to leave the door on. I know it's going to make a little bit of mess within your room, but it's a lot quicker and you can check super easy. A lot of people like to take the doors off, take them off the hinges, carry it downstairs, sand it, bring it back up, reinstall it. It's still hitting. Take it apart over and over and over and over. Just try to clean the room area, kind of get it away. It's going to make a little bit of a mess, but it's a lot less work in the long run. So open your door. Like I said, use your orbital sander or just regular 120 grit sandpaper and just work that down, up and down until you get to that pencil line, all right? And then you just work that however much you need. And you'll be able to check it. You don't have to always get to that pencil line, maybe a little bit less, but you're right here. Close the door. Closes nice. Perfect. If you close it, it still sticks a little bit. Take a little more off. It's whatever that you need, all right? Now when you're done, just get a little bit of touch-up paint. Just paint the outside of that door. Don't put a million coats on it because you're going to get back to that problem again if it's sticking. Just maybe 2 quick coats. Shut the door, and you're done. So I gave you 4 quick, easy steps to alleviate the door sticking to the jamb. Homeownership's a lot of work, but the pride is in the progress. So good luck, subscribe, see you in the next one.